So the third pillar of digital transformation is about optimizing operations. And one could even argue that the original charter and purpose of IT was to optimize operations. But it has actually become far more elegant than that as we look into this new digital world. In fact, optimizing operations has gone from simple reporting and monitoring to analytics and intelligent diagnostics to the future of IoT and machine learning to drive predictive response and proactive optimization. And we have a fantastic scenario to share with you here. Please welcome to the stage Dean Ludi, the VP of Information Technology from SM Energy, and eLynx CIO Ryan McDonald.
Hi.
Dean, how are you?
Good.
Good to see you.
Hey, Justin.
Ryan, welcome.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks, guys. So Ryan, eLynx is helping your customers optimize their operations and embrace the idea of a digital oil field by leveraging IoT and just a tremendous amount of cloud technology backed by Azure. So why don't you tell us about this thing you call eLynx and the solution that you've implemented with SM Energy?
Sure. SCADA stands for Supervisory Control and Data Acquisition. We're taking IoT SCADA sensors and connecting them to all the measurement devices at SM Energy's wells. Things like gauges, meters, pumps, and tanks. And then we're feeding the readings through the Azure IoT suite to the cloud so SM Energy can stay connected at all times.
Awesome. And Dean, so how has being able to get this real-time data benefited an industry that has really sort of formerly been a fairly non-digital world?
Yeah, so, we're an oil and gas company, right? We're about 108 years old this year.
Wow.
So to put your comment of a non-digital world into perspective, we're actually around 77 years before you guys released Windows 1 back in 1985.
All right, fair point.
But if you fast forward to today, you're seeing the energy and the oil and gas industry really utilize the innovation and technology that all you guys that you're creating to get power out of our data and change the way we operate these oil fields.
Awesome. So what does it look like?
So here you can see this is one of our well sites in South Texas. We actually have about 1,500 operated wells that span all the way from the Canadian border down to the South Texas border.
Super cool.
Here, this field's right on the Mexican border in South Texas, and it actually has about 450 well sites in it. Now, traditionally, before the digital oil field came along, we would send a technician to every one of these sites every day just to show up and take a few readings, see if the well was producing.
Wow. So I imagine having technicians on the road all the time was not only expensive, but sometimes dangerous, safety hazards, a pretty big expense to your operation.
Absolutely. If you think about it, this windshield time is extremely unproductive for us. But not only is it unproductive, it's one of the most dangerous things we do every day is sending these technicians out on these old dirt roads, and some of them log 4 and 5 hours of windshield time, right? But with all that said, you got to realize that safely producing these wells is our sole source of revenue, right? And so historically, an operator, he would roll up onto location, jump out to check on the well, and it would actually be logged off. Now, they're smart individuals. They're going to get these wells producing again. But we've actually lost that revenue stream for that day.
Sure.
Right? There's no getting that back. So we actually envisioned and engaged eLynx to really build out a digital footprint, basically a window in our day-to-day operations, and change the way that we actually operate these fields.
Super
but it might be easier if I just show you an example.
Sounds good.
So here is a list of all of these wells that you just seen on that map.
Okay.
And as you can see here, there's a whole bunch of operating parameters that are in here, and we can now monitor these wells 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, from virtually anywhere that we can get an internet connection. So this same operator that used to just head out to the field every day, he might head to his truck at 5:30 in the morning. He opens up his laptop. He can check all his wells before he even leaves his driveway.
Wow. It sounds like the operation is completely transformed and changed. Why don't you show us a little bit about how that actually works from their point of view?
Sure. So if you think about it, we've actually added an additional part to this. We have, you can come in here, I'll just click on one of these wells, and now you can see that not only are we monitoring these wells 24 hours a day, we're bringing in a ton more information that guy ever wrote down on a piece of paper.
That's right.
Right? And so as we bring that in, we can wrap operational parameters around that, and if the well starts to operate outside of that parameter, we can alarm. Here you can see all of the alarms that have been set up for this particular well, and you can see that this one's actually in alarm here. This is actually showing us that this well is producing 30% less oil today than it did in the previous day, which is not a good thing for us.
Yeah, no, look, I'm not an expert in your field, but I can't imagine that's a good thing. So what are the implications on revenue?
Well, a lot of the times, though, when you see this, we have a lot of engineers and stuff that work for us. They need more information. So although that you have this alarm, we can come down here, we can click on a different view. You can see a schematic view. Now I'm seeing real-time data and information that is flowing in from this well. And not only is this application giving us a window into what's going on every day, it actually now allows us to really take control of these assets. I can change some parameters and keep this well safely producing while the technician's on site to go fix something. Or if it's bad enough, I can actually shut a pump in or shut the entire well in, so when he rolls up onto the location, he's walking into a controlled environment.
That's awesome. So you're saving time, your operations are far more efficient, and actually you're driving better revenue and profitability, even in a time when the oil and gas industry has had a lot of compression in the overall market. So huge benefits to operations.
Yeah, absolutely. If you think about a large disruption in one of these fields like this one in South Texas, if it impacts multiple wells, the impact on our revenue can quickly be in the millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Right? And so that was the whole concept around engaging eLynx and building out this digital oil field, was really to increase the speed in which we can react when we do have some kind of disruption. Because these disruptions come from anywhere. They could be a mechanical failure. They could be a hurricane that's coming through the Gulf and lands here. It could be a major snowstorm in North Dakota. Wow. We don't know, but now we're able to have this visibility and react.
That's awesome. So Ryan, tell us a little bit more about, I guess, what's next coming from eLynx and what you plan to do with SM moving forward.
Sure. We're going to use Azure machine learning to prevent these type of mechanical failures that Dean just mentioned from ever happening in the first place. So we've got about 5 years of historical data from SM Energy's wells. And our team of data scientists, in conjunction with Mike Reinhardt and his team at Quisitive, are building advanced machine learning models in the Cortana Analytics Suite. We're taking the operational data from the wells and using it to predict failure.
Awesome. Well, let's take a look.
Sure. So this is one of our Azure machine learning models that we trained with historical data from hundreds of wells.
Awesome.
Once we train the model, we input new readings into it, and the output is predicted results. We then take the results and we feed them into a Power BI dashboard. So down here on the bottom, we've got a list of wells. And if I click on one of the wells, you'll see that the two graphs at the top update.
Yep.
The graph on the left is operational parameters from the artificial lift devices, things like pressures and temperatures. And the graph on the right shows our prediction for failure. The closer that red line is to 1.0, the higher the probability that the well is going to fail.
Got it. So you monitor this, and anytime it gets to be approaching that level, you know you've got an issue on your hands. You can take proactive action.
Exactly. So if I click on the San Ambrosia well that had the alert before, you can see that the machine learning model here would have predicted the failure right around cycle 300. We'd then notify SM Energy about the impending failure, and they could take the necessary actions to correct it.
Yeah, so it's an awesome extension of what has already been a huge amount of optimization in your enterprise and throughout your operations. You can use ML now to predict these failures and actually prevent them from ever happening. So you can have full life cycle utilization of these wells. So tell us a little bit about the business value there for you, Dean.
Yeah, well, if you think of the business value, I mean, just this short time we've been up here, we went, it's been 4 or 5 years. We went from really having no visibility to having 24-hour monitoring, alarming, and actually control. It's been a huge transformation for the energy industry and having the ability to do that. Now you're going to take all of our data, they're going to take all of our data, put it on your guys' machine learning, and you're going to tell me when I'm going to have an issue. I can react and avoid the downtime altogether. It'll have a huge impact on us. I mean, the innovation that you guys are providing us is just making us so much more predictive and efficient, and really the more efficient we get, the better we are at providing energy to people.
Awesome, Dean. Dean, Ryan, thank you guys so much for sharing this.
Absolutely,
example.
thank you.
Fantastic. Thanks, Ryan.